The Ron Van Dam Show is made possible by generous contributions from listeners like you. Except you, Jerry. You're a turd. We're sending your money back to you. Don't ever send money here again, Jerry. You know perfectly well why. Final warning. You haven't forgotten. We haven't forgotten, Jerry. Okay? Like $14 was gonna smooth things over with Ron. No, Jerry. Just fucking no. We will send people to your house. For everyone who's not Jerry, thank you. And we return you to the Ron Van Dam Show. Turn off the podcast, Jerry. We mean it.
The following programming is EI, educational and informative.
No, it's not.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. It's the Ron Van Dam Show.
Thank you very much.
Hold on tight, things can get a bit weird, if you like that sort of thing.
Welcome to the program. It is the Ron Van Dam Show. I am the person to whom they refer to in the title of the damn thing. Today on the program, we're going to teach you how to brush your teeth. That'll be a first. Not the first time we've discussed that, but the first time you've ever brushed your teeth, apparently. Oh my God, I went to the dentist. I did. I went this week. Can you believe that? You don't have to. I did go. Oh, I was shamed. I was tooth shamed. The dentist, the oral hygienist, she came in with all these tools and drills. I thought she was going to build a house in my mouth. And she started cleaning my teeth. She was chiseling away like she was doing ice sculptures in there. I don't know what the hell she was doing. At a point, I mumbled and said, "What the hell are you doing?" But it didn't come out like that. And then when she was finished, she took off her her thing, what do you call that? That mask, so that she didn't, the mask, so I didn't spit on her. And she said, if you just sit in a chair, the dentist will come in here to assess what a schmuck you really are. And the dentist came in later, another female, and she said to me, you are not taking care of your teeth. And I said, well, you're probably not taking care of your children, but I don't say that to you. So let's just back off here, dental lady. I mean, seriously. She said, Ron, you're going to have receding gums. I said, oh my God, you're psychic. How do you know that's going to happen? She said, because you're not taking care of your teeth. Do you floss every day, Ron? And I said, I don't even know what that is. She said, well, the oral hygienist found a piece of corn wedged between your teeth from 1927. I said, I'm not even that old. And she replied, but the corn is. How dare she? That's it for them. I am not going back to that dentist. I will not. I will not put up with that kind of abuse. That's dental abuse upon me. When I left the dental office, I felt like an outcast of society. I don't know what it is with these dentists. They think they rule my mouth, and they don't. They don't. What I put in my mouth, ooh, that didn't sound right. What I put in my mouth is my business. And yet the dentist just seems to feel like she owns my mouth. Well, no. Anyway, that's not true. I didn't go to the dentist this week. I just made that up. But anyway, no, I did go. And it was a harrowing experience, especially when they told me how much they were going to charge me because I don't have dental insurance. And I keep telling them there's no point in getting dental insurance because I never plan to come back here ever again. And then I get a postcard in the mail or some type of robocall from a guy named Robo who says, hey, it's time for your dental cleaning. And like some type of cult follower, I go, yes, master, I shall appear at your office so that you can put your kids through college with my money. In fact, I have no dental insurance. You're preying upon the weak and the indigent. I don't know. I just go to the dentist because when I leave, they have a bowl of candy. I think they're not supposed to do that, but if they do put out a bowl of candy, like it's a dental Halloween, then I'll probably eat it and then get holes in my teeth from their candy, and they're making money again. They are devious. They are devious people. Here's how devious they are and how horrible they can be. There's a sign outside of their dental office, and on the sign is a giant tooth. What do you think, I'm stupid? If you don't have a sign out that says dental office, that I'm not going to know what you do? Stop it. This isn't a cartoon show. It's my life. Don't put a giant tooth on your sign and with a face on it. Come on, cut it out. I'm not a child. Yeah, but Ron, we're trying to get children to go to the dentist. I see. Well, that's not going to happen. Anyway, welcome to the program. It is the Friday weekend edition of the show. Thank you for showing up in an audio sense. You know, you're probably just sitting in a chair right now. You know what they say. You know what they say, my friends. Sitting in a chair is the new smoking. Especially if you're sitting in a chair and smoking, that would kind of make it even worse. I am exercising now. I mean, not right now, but I am doing that as a part of my daily routine. I will pour myself a glass of vodka, and I will lift it to my mouth approximately 8 times until the glass is empty. And I got to tell you, I feel pretty much in shape now. Thank you. Not a bad deal. Not a bad deal. Then when I run out of vodka, I have to run down to the store. In my car, but still I'm moving. I'm kidding. I don't drink that much vodka. I would if I could, but I shouldn't, so I don't. Because I still have an ounce of dignity. An ounce of dignity, by the way. I said that in the guise of an ounce of, thank you. All right, I do have an interesting guest coming up later in the program. Boy, do I love to talk about food. I think that's what I'm going to be talking about with my guest. I have no idea because I don't prepare these things and I don't know what's in front of me. They just give me the sheet and I do the thing. And I fulfill the sheet that they give me. But we're going to talk to an editor of New York Times Cookbook, I believe. So that should be interesting. All right, I'm going to give you a little lesson today. It's not going to hurt, believe me. It's something you should know. It really is. Here is the essence of having the art of conversation. We are human beings that coexist with each other. I know it's a problem, but we do. There's really no choice. And here's the problem with that. In coexisting with other people, every once in a while, we have to have conversations and communicate back and forth. It's called a conversation. I have noticed in my lifetime that there are many, many, many people who don't know how to have a conversation. Let me explain to you so that hopefully if I can just change one person, then I will have done my job. A conversation consists of two people having thoughts and saying words to each other back and forth in order to either enjoy or to educate or to communicate. A conversation is not a freaking monologue. For some reason, and I don't know why, I'm running into people who only monologue. I don't understand it. Was there a bus that broke down, the monologue bus, and all the monologue people were set free and had children and now have populated the earth? What has happened here? If you're going to tell me a story, don't start the story by saying, well, to make a long story short, that's awful. Even worse is when you know that you're an asshole and you say, well, to make a short story longer, which you think is funny, but it's obviously what you're going to be doing, then I really need to educate you. And that's why when the show began, we said this.
The following programming is EI, educational and informative.
Because, damn it, I'm going to educate you right now. Now, I don't know which kind of person you are, a person of conversation or a person of monologue. But if you're a person of monologue, then listen to me and listen to me tight. When you say something to somebody else, you must include what you're saying to have a follow-up, and how do you feel about it, or did that ever happen to you? Include the other person in the conversation. If the other person is just sitting there going, uh-huh, 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 oh, uh-huh, uh-huh, oh, uh-huh, uh-huh, oh, uh-huh, uh-huh, and then they take out their cell phone and they start playing video games or start texting, they're not paying attention to you. And here's the problem. You don't even realize that, do you? You don't even know when someone is not paying attention to you. You don't even know when you're boring the hell out of somebody else, do you? Because you are so involved in you spouting out your words at any cost. I don't quite understand that. I don't. Podcasts, radio shows, that's different. You're going there for a reason. I assume. But in a conversation with somebody face to face, you gotta pick up the other person's response to what you're saying. If they're just nodding their head, they're not involved. And if you don't realize that, you need to seek professional psychiatric help. I've told you so many times before that this is a pet peeve of mine. Michael Jackson, remember him with the moonwalk? I used to find that fascinating. I have since learned to do the moonwalk, but not on purpose. If someone's talking to me and I'm totally uninterested and I'm trying to back out of the quote-unquote conversation, I will, without even realize it, I will start to do the moonwalk backwards. And or I will say to the person, look, I've got to go. I need to go. I think I left my stove on. I got to go immediately. And I have a feeling the person who's talking to me is still there even though I left. I have that feeling. It's a horrible thing. It's got to stop. It's got to stop now, by the way. Now. You need to involve people in conversation. Talking at people is not a pleasant thing. All right. Now, raise your hand if what I said makes any sense to you. Nobody's raising. Oh, God, jeez. Come on, man. I've just poured my heart out to you. Give me a break. Lord. I don't get it.
Everyone's doing a chicken sandwich these days, but nobody does it quite like Burger Guy. Introducing Burger Guy's new all-beef chicken sandwich. It starts with 3 of our signature paper-thin patties and a hearty helping of our something-like cheese sauce on a delicious day-old bun. So what makes it a chicken sandwich? Well, every Burger Guy all-beef chicken sandwich is topped with a crispy Cajun spice free-range chicken beak. It's the tastiest part of the chicken.
Science tells us so. The new all-beef chicken sandwich. Available for a limited time, only at Burger Guy.
The Burger Guy all-beef chicken sandwich is available as a meal combo with the Burger Guy metric ton of fries and keg of soda. The Burger Guy all-beef chicken sandwich contains less than 2% chicken by weight and should not be confused with a chicken sandwich containing more than 2% chicken. Consult your physician before eating anything at Burger Guy, ever.
Our guest will be joining us shortly. I didn't mean to insult you when I was talking about the fact that some of you just talk and just never seem to ever shut up and have absolutely no interest in whether the person you're talking to is listening to you or not. You just talk in order to hear yourself talk. There's something wrong with that, and you need to realize that that's happening. It will make the world a better place. In government, that would be wonderful too. Have a conversation, go back and forth, see if you can find a middle ground. God, everybody is just so weird these days. It's been going on for a while, but it's just we're devolving into a bunch of weird people. Oh, I just, I went down to the store yesterday, and yesterday I had chicken. Chicken was fantastic. I cooked the chicken. Here's what I do with the chicken. I took the chicken, and can I show you where I have the chicken? The chicken's over here in the back. I take the chicken, and I marinate it for 3 hours. And then after that, I put it on the grill, and I go inside, and I'll read a book. Maybe I'll read a book. I remember I'm reading a book about a guy named Bob who has a farm, oddly enough, because we're talking about chickens, and he has a farm, and some car drives up, and they don't know who it is, and they have guests staying over for the night, and it's a fascinating book. I can't put it down. I'm going to tell you all about it and every single word it says in it. So anyway, so I go back outside of the grill, and the chicken is just starting to burn. I go, oh no, what am I doing? I left the chicken on too long, so what am I going to do? So I go back in, there's a few more pieces of marinated chicken in the refrigerator. I take the marinated chicken out of the refrigerator, and I start all over again. And I go back to the book, because I love that book, and I'm still reading the book. And then, but I got to be very, very careful, because if I read the book too much, then the chicken's going to burn again. Then I'm going to have no chicken at all. So I start reading the book, and okay, so a guy's sitting down in his house, and these guests come into his house. This is in the book. It's a fantastic book. You should really read it, Ryan. You should pick it up. I don't know. Do you read? You read? I don't even care if you read. I'm just talking to you. So anyway, they go back and forth and talking about their past, and the guy learns all about his past from this guest that pulled up in the car. And they said, well, you should stay overnight because it's a lousy night. It's not. It could be raining, could be snowing. I have no idea. So they sit there and they go, oh my God, wait a minute. I'm reading the book. I'm getting involved in the book again. I got to go out to the grill. Maybe the chicken is burning. I run out and the chicken is burning again. So, no, what am I going to do? Well, I go into the closet, go into the pantry. I have a very nice pantry. I painted the door last week because his dog is getting all scratchy. I have a dog, and the dog scratches the dog. The dog scratches the dog. The dog does scratch it. That's not what I'm talking about. The dog does scratch the door, and the door got all scratched. So I had to paint it. I sanded down first. I went out to Lowe's, got some sandpaper. Sandpaper, you can get like a 3-pack of sandpaper, like for $5.95. That's a pretty good deal for sandpaper. So anyway, I go back to the door, and I start sanding it down. Then I painted it, put 2 coats of white paint. And it took me a little while, but it's not bad. Watching paint dry is kind of fascinating. Then I go inside the closet, and I get out a box of cereal, and I get some milk, and that's what I had for dinner. I had basically the cereal with milk because I had burned all the chicken. It was really a horrible deal. So after that, then I go to bed. I go upstairs and I brush my teeth. My dentist tells me that I don't brush my teeth enough, but the dentist is really shaming me, and I really don't like it. Anyway, I got to tell you about my dentist. She's about 23 years old, and she's really, really nice, but I'm attracted to her, but I don't know how to tell her, so I don't tell her at all. So he goes, by the way, did I ever tell you next week I'm going to go in a boat? I haven't been in a boat all my life, but I'm going to go in a boat, and I love the boat. I felt like going in a boat because I like to go in the water, and the water is fantastic. Did you ever go in the water, Ron? Did you like the water? Do you like the boat? Don't even tell me. I don't even care. There's no time for you to answer me. So anyway, I go back to the door, the pantry door, and now it's dried, and I had the cereal, and the cereal was fantastic. But now I have a gastric condition because milk doesn't agree with me. I think I'm lactose intolerant. I'm tolerant of a lot of things, but apparently lactose is probably pretty bad, so I don't do the bowel. So anyway, I think I'm lactose intolerant, and so I got to go to the doctor and make an appointment. I can't go next Thursday because next Thursday I have to go to my fit and trim class, and fit and trim class is where I lose weight. And it's really pretty. It's like yoga. It's not really quite yoga. It's called fit and trim. It's pretty good. And shut up. Let's talk to our guest. Amanda Hesser is here. She is with the New York Times. She's been with the food department, so to speak, I guess we'll call it, for quite some time. She's authored many books on the subject. Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, Amanda, I'll tell you, we received a copy of the book. It's astounding. I think it's bigger than the Bible. Is that true?
I don't actually know, but yes, it is quite a. I joke that it makes a good doorstop if you're not into cooking. But yeah, it's got 1,200 recipes in it, so it's pretty. It's a pretty intense book, but the Times has been covering food for over 150 years, so I didn't want to give it short shrift. I really wanted to make sure that there were a good kind of grouping, selection of recipes across the many decades that they've been covering.
It's got many fascinating assets to it that I haven't found in other books of its sort. First of all, you're like a few pages shy of 1,000. You could have hit the mark, Amanda.
I'll try harder next time.
Yeah, just maybe a dedication to somebody would have done it. Anyway, it's amazing. When I saw the book, I just my response was wow. I've had New York Times cookbooks forever. You even, I think it's mentioned The Joy of Cooking was one of the Bibles in that category. This one's right up there. You've made categories that are very people friendly. We prepare meals by evening suppers, by holidays, all different categories, and somehow you've managed to put them all into one.
Are you referring to the sort of sections at the back? So I did a bunch of I did a section called Dinner on the Deck, and then gave a bunch of menus. Or if it's freezing cold out, here are a bunch of recipes.
Exactly.
If it's really sweltering hot out.
Exactly.
Yeah. Kids' birthday party recipes. Yeah, because with a book that has this many recipes in it, I just wanted to make sure that it was really as accessible to everyone as possible, and so that it wasn't seen as this big kind of encyclopedic book, but actually this ideally central resource for you every day, and that it could really serve you well during holidays, during when you're trying to figure out what to make on a weeknight, or if you're having friends over, or like I said, if it's sweltering hot out and you don't feel like turning on your oven, what in this book can you make that is really great, but cooling?
Yeah, I mean it's fascinating how all the avenues take you to different places depending on what you're looking for. It's nicely lined up. The other thing I found fascinating was because this is basically a historical situation, as the New York Times has been doing this well before all of us were born, probably. That some of the recipes are actually dated to the point where when they were originated, and you find them to be kind of the old standard traditionals that still are so popular today. But I found that history quite fascinating too. Some of those dishes that I grew up with are still there. Yeah,
it's definitely not a comprehensive, food history book in any way, shape, or form. But it's kind of it's really essentially cooking seen through the eyes of New York Times writers and editors, and the people that they wrote about over the decades. And of course, everyone comes to it with their own limited view, but I think hopefully collectively, it gives people a sense of how some people were thinking about food and during a particular period. And I found myself surprised that they're in the 1800s. There were recipes for things like Italian granita, which is an Italian ice, sweet ice that seemed to have gotten popularized in cities like New York in the 80s and 90s, but in fact, the Times had written about it 100 years before. Or something like dulce de leche, which of course has been around forever, but isn't something that maybe was as commonly familiar as it is now, but actually the Times also had a recipe for that in the 19th century as well.
So you can.
So it's just a very cool archive because and actually, and so I think I was just trying to kind of ideally capture that, that there have been, lots of different voices in the Times over time. And I think the real reason that I wanted to write a new edition of the book was because over the past decade, the Times has really broadened its coverage, and I think brought in a lot, more diverse voices in its contributors and in its staff, and really made an effort to go deeper on a lot of cuisines that they had only touched on in a surface level way. And so being able to, and also they had gone all in on digital, and on the internet, food is kind of changes rapidly, and there's new things all the time. And I wanted this new edition to reflect all of that. Yeah,
it's all there. The other thing that I found fascinating, it's not Bob's grilling cookbook. This is what Bob grills. It's not one chef. It's not one viewpoint, one theory. It's all these stars and food celebrities and famed chefs from the past, present, and probably future. They're all in there. It's not just. If you like Julia Child recipes, they're in there too. It's everything that the Times covered forever that has to do with food, and I think that's also fascinating.
Yeah, it's kind of like Julia Childs and David Chang. There's it really that is sort of the what I also kind of found interesting. Working at the Times, but also just as a reader that the Times does cover a lot of a lot of different people and has done so for decades, and so it's it really is this kind of treasure trove of kind of recipes and ways of cooking, ways of thinking about food, over time. And I think that the last thing I want anyone to feel about this book is that it's a kind of a cooking history book, because it's not. It's really about I really tried to show how there's so much of cooking is timeless and stays relevant. And even as our kind of understanding of food evolves, and that ideally this is a book that, whether you're cooking a recipe from the 19th century or from last week, it's not last week, but maybe last year. All of these recipes sort of belong in your kitchen today.
Yeah. I can do some of these recipes that I actually did when I was younger. Not that I'm not old necessarily, man. I'm just saying. But it brings a lot of it back.
There's a lot of recipes that, you sort of forget about things, right? I sort of feel like we tend to be a little trend driven, and so we kind of get super into something for a while, and then we forget about it and move on. But it's nice to go back sometimes, and I wanted to make sure that when we were all obsessed with risotto, for instance, that there's a handful of good risotto recipes that you aren't going to want to forget forever. But when you do get in the mood for risotto, you can go back to.
Risotto is so interesting. I've never worked so hard for rice before. It's unbelievable. Anyway.
Yeah.
Here's the deal. You got the holidays coming up. If you know somebody who is really into cooking and really into food, and they would find this to be just the complete works of Shakespeare, so to speak, that's pretty much what this is. So it is a big book. It's impressive. So it does make a really good gift, because it's a wow book. It's available everywhere, I assume.
Yes, it's available at all major retailers, Amazon included, and we'll be selling it on food52.com in our shop as a bundle with a T-shirt and some other fun things. So hopefully, if you want more of a gift bundle, that's probably a good place to check out. Otherwise, you can get it at any bookstore.
Not bad. And the books aren't held up on a barge off the harbor in Los Angeles. They're available, I assume. Okay. Anyway, it's the Essential New York Times Cookbook. That's titled the Essential New York Times Cookbook. It's the recipes of record. Amanda Hesser. How can people follow you? Is that a possibility?
Sure, yeah. They can follow at Food52, which is my company, or they can also follow me at Amanda Hesser.
Wonderful. Hey,
on Instagram.
At Instagram. Well, you're probably all over the place anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. Pleasure speaking to you. Thank you so much for bringing this to the table. Ooh, that was pretty good. Well, that'll do it for me today. Thank you so much for being here. I hope that you've learned something eventually somewhere. I'll be back again on Monday with a brand new show. Until then, have yourself a wonderful time, and I wish you peace.